Late Night with the Devil is out on Shudder, a new horror film starring David Dastmalchian done in the mockumentary style that pretends to use actual footage of an actual real story, even though of course it's all fictional. And unlike a similarly premised What We Do in the Shadows, this film is fairly serious and dramatic. The story starts with a bit of exposition about the main character of the film, Jack Delroy. He's a fictional late-night host in the 1970s who was in contention with Johnny Carson for the top spot, then fell off quite a bit and is now struggling to stay on air and renew his contract, which is ending soon. In a desperate bid for attention, for Halloween night of 1977, he prepares a show with multiple guests touching on the paranormal. He's got a psychic medium, a former magician who now debunks others as fakes, and a psychologist taking care of a teenage girl who supposedly is possessed by a demon. But over the course of the show, things gradually spin completely out of control. So, I liked a couple of different things about the film. First of all, the setting is incredibly unique. We've had late night talk shows done in movies, and we've had them done well before. King of Comedy and Joker come to mind as memorable, obvious examples, but we never had it done in a straight horror fashion, as the place where a straight horror story takes place. Additionally, it's done with an incredible attention to detail. The set, the costumes, hairstyles, the way people talk and behave are all taken straight from the 1970s. In many ways, it does feel like watching real footage. And the film also nails the format of the show, as well as the contrast between the on-camera stuff and the backstage footage. To the point that my girlfriend walked in at one point, watched for a couple of minutes with me, and asked why I was watching such an old movie. David Dastmalchian is fantastic in the lead role. He carries the film on his back and manages to very effortlessly switch between his cool, collected, in-control charisma on camera and sort of more nervous anxiety on the backstage. He's always been a memorable part of the movies he was in, playing bit parts in stuff like Prisoners, Ant-Man, The Suicide Squad. Here he proves he can also lead a film. I liked the cinematography, the way it emulates the feel of the old VHS tapes, complete with grain, discoloration, glitches, and so on. There are a couple of very unnerving sequences which utilize that, like those glitches, to really great effect. I also liked how a lot of the story details are kind of subtly sprinkled in the background, and you have to piece them together. Not a lot of the details of the story are explicitly explained, but I think despite that, the movie manages to make things quite clear by implying them. And finally, Ingrid Torelli is great as the young girl. It's not a particularly scary film. I would describe it as unnerving and creepy more than straight up terrifying. And yeah, it does feature some special effects which might look a bit wonky, but I thought that they fit the vibe of the old late night TV show. And the film ends fairly abruptly too, which I saw some people criticizing. I don't have a problem with that. I think that fit as well. Overall, solid movie, not the scariest horror out there, but certainly an original and well-made one.